The 2025 season already underway for the drivers in the USF 2000 Championship. But back now here at NOLA Motorsports Park for a triple header here at a very challenging racetrack. We all know how crucial these opening rounds of the program are. We'll see which drivers step things up. This young driver, Bradley Majman from J. Howard Driver Development, his best qualifying so far. P2 outside front row starting spot. Brad, you got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, starting up the front row, can't complain. We're 1-2 for the team. So, yeah, the pace has been thereabouts. Obviously, Liam's got a little bit on us all. But, yeah, we're thereabouts. So, yeah, just can't complain. Out of the midfield drama. So, yeah, it was hopefully a good race.
Yeah, I think that's key, that midfield drama. When you're up front, you get away from some of that. Let's talk about the transition from St. Petersburg, a very tough racetrack, right? No room for error there. You can drop a wheel here and there, but it is still a tough racetrack. You got to watch those curves.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a bit surprised because you would have thought St. Pete, we had like half an hour of practice. You would have thought the gaps would be strung out like they are now. Coming here, that's been, I think, around about 8 days of testing. So you would have thought it, and St. Pete, it was like top 5 within a 10. So you would have thought it'd be swapped around. And I mean, the curbs here, there's quite a few cars that have done push rods. I mean, I've done 2 push rods in testing over the winter, so it is still actually you have to be quite careful with where you put your car, especially over the back in turn 5 where you use all the track.
So let's talk about the start here. If you and Liam sat down, he'll be on the pole position. Liam McNeely, you'll be alongside him for an all J. Howard front row. Have you talked some strategy yet?
Not yet. We're still going through quali from that session, but yeah, I mean, can't imagine it'll be too complicated. Just don't crash.
That's it. Out of the gate to start the season, what are your thoughts on this one? Is there an expectation? Is there a thought that, hey man, I need a couple of really good results here?
Not really. Just take it as it comes. I mean, it's all learning. If I've got pace, I'll put myself up the front. If I don't, I won't be. So yeah, no. Do what I need to do. The results will take care of itself anyway.
You've heard that before from drivers, right? You do what you do, the results take care of themselves. Brad Majman starting on the outside of the front row for USF 2000 race number 1. Alongside him, the driver who leads the points coming into the event here at NOLA, Liam McNeely. We had a chance to chat with him earlier this weekend. It's been over a month since the start of the season back at St. Petersburg in early March, and all spotlight right now on the driver who dominated the action there in USF 2000, Liam McNeely from J. Howard Driver Development. Liam, let's start first and look at what you did in St. Petersburg. Great way to come out of the gate as a rookie. What were your thoughts leaving that weekend?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, really good weekends. Obviously, I didn't really go into the weekend, expecting too much, just staying off the walls and, picking up some good results. But, we had a great car from the team, and yeah, it was just good to get a couple wins on the board, and hopefully we can carry it into this weekend.
Anytime a rookie can win at St. Petersburg, it's big. Obviously, the first time you've been there, but you did run Toronto the year before. Let's talk about your juniors career, your juniors experience, and then Toronto. How crucial was Toronto, you think, for you coming out of the gate at St. Petersburg?
Yeah, very, very good. Being in Toronto, I mean, I could just sort of treat St. Petersburg as sort of a normal road course, really. So, I mean, for that point of view, it was really good. And then, Toronto is just a whole other beast. So, I'm looking forward to, going back. Obviously, we went there last year, so, refresh memory and, good to go.
Over the last couple of years, we've seen some drivers come out of the gate strongly, win a bunch of races in a row. One of them, a former driver here at J. Howard Driver Development, in Christian Rasmussen. Do you look back and say, hey, listen, I've got the first 2 race wins, get a couple more here, potentially I could get myself into a good point lead? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, we've been quick all through testing, so I don't see why we can't. We've got qualifying coming up, so that's where it really counts. You can be quick in testing, but qualifying's where it counts. So, we're positive going into qualifying in the races, so we'll see what we can do.
We know, obviously, second last year in the championship in USF Juniors, you had kind of expectations coming in what you do as a rookie. How much of those expectations changed after the success of St. Petersburg?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we knew we could go into the weekend and, the season, hoping to, fight for the championship. So, I mean, picking up the wins at St. Petersburg, really puts us, on the board as sort of like the guy to beat, really. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to, carrying on the momentum and seeing what we can do this weekend.
One of the big things, obviously, when you first came over here from England, obviously, it's a brand new, all these new tracks, the new atmosphere, the new culture. You're a year on now. How much different are you as a driver and as a young man when we were here last year in March and April?
Yeah, no, I think I'm completely different. I mean, I just come off the boat, as they say, from the UK. So, it's good to just be back with the team and, being, getting sort of acclimatized with everyone in the team and stuff like Joe and Jay. And it's just, nice to be in New Orleans, really, and, ready to go.
Wins breed wins. Do you feel like you got more coming this weekend?
That's the plan. I mean, we'll see what we can do. I mean, if testing says what we can do that. So we'll just wait and see, really.
We saw it last year, folks. Max Garcia able to get out to a very big start of the 2024 season. He rolled out all the way through to Portland to win the championship. Liam McNeely's got 2 wins already in the books, and we'll be going for 3 more here this weekend at NOLA.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by, like, a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
2 drivers we're going to be watching right now for sure on that pre-show with Brad Majman and, of course, your point leader, Liam McNeely. Very comfortable here. Scored his first USF Pro Championships win last year here at NOLA Motorsports Park, winning race number 2 in USF Juniors. And as we know, coming out of the gate super strong at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, McNeely, your leader here in USF 2000, coming into the weekend by, again, now 14 points over Jack Jeffers, putting the car, of course, on the pole here right now. Rounds 3, 4, and 5 on the weekend here around this 2.74 mile, 13 turn road course. Let's jump in now to the grid as we have 19 drivers set to roll off here. Those pilots now out on pit lane. Starting at the tail of the field, they've been working on this machine, had some issues, but have found some speed here. We're quicker in Sport did a one-off race last year in Toronto. They brought their own Synergy team over. Bestwick, the rookie, in the 30, starting at the tail of the field. Nowhere to go but forward right now for the Aussie. Row number 9, we will have Ayrton Houck on the outside. A similar weekend, very rough throughout qualifying, throughout testing, throughout practice. They had issues. He went off in the opening laps of qualifying. He'll start at the tail of the field here in 18th. Ayrton Houck for Benchmark Autosport in the number 58. Much quicker, 11th in round 2 qualifying, so watch for him to be more mid-pack tomorrow. But he does have the speed to potentially work his way forward. He'll start alongside Vian Boshoff, the driver from South Africa for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development, the rookie in the number 67. Row 8 will have veteran driver Brady Golan for D-Force Racing, ran both juniors and USF 2000 last year. Golan going to start in the 18th spot in the number 16, alongside rookie driver Ryan Janetta, the Californian, in the number 99 for VRD Racing. Was planning on going USF Juniors Racing this year, decided to step up after spring training. Had a solid run throughout St. Petersburg and finds himself P15 inside of row number 8 to roll off here for race number 1 of a scheduled 3 on the weekend. Row 7 will have J. Howard Driver Development's Timmy Carell in the number 8, the Californian starting 14th, alongside fellow Californian Christian Cameron for VRD Racing in the number 19. Now up into row number 6, the rookie Joshua Lionel starting in the 12th spot. He'll roll into this race sitting 3rd place in points on the strength of a podium 3rd and a top 10 9th at St. Petersburg. Lionel quicker again in qualifying 2, but he'll start 12th here now alongside Lucas Facuri for Exclusive Autosport in the number 91, the Brazilian. Starting 11th, Lionel out of Texas, starting 12th. Into the top 10 right now on the outside out of Ohio, the number 2 of Thomas Schrag, the VRD Racing driver. Knows how to get around this racetrack quickly. Watch for him to work his way forward very fast. And alongside him, G3 Argyros, same thing. Both these drivers will be on the move early. They're going to start on row number 5, so work to be done. Some talented and very fast drivers in front of them. Argyros for Pabst Racing, the Californian, in the number 23. Row number 4 will have the Canadian Anthony Martello, the rookie for J. Howard Driver Development, in the number 9, starting 8th outside of row number 4. And inside, Teddy Musella in the number 25 for VRD Racing. Row number 3 will be Sebastian Garzone for D-Force Racing here with that scholarship from the Lucas Oil School of Racing Formula Car Series. Garzone, the Colombian, starting 12th alongside Evan Cooley out of Illinois for Exclusive Autosport in the number 90. Cooley and Garzone on row number 3. Row 2 will have Caleb Gaffera out of Charlotte, North Carolina in the Pabst Racing number 24. Gaffera had a pretty solid run, finished in the 3rd spot in race number 2 at St. Petersburg. A rough opening race, ended up in the wall on the outside of turn 4, but the pace most definitely there for Gaffera in the Pabst Racing number 24. He'll start alongside the veteran driver Jack Jeffers, a couple of years in USF Juniors. The number 92 machine, 2nd place in points coming in. 2 runner-up finishes behind McNeely at St. Petersburg. The Texan, Jack Jeffers, the rookie for Exclusive Autosport, in the number 92, starting 3rd. 19 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row. All J. Howard driver development. From Australia, it's Brad Majman, the rookie in the number 7, starting on the outside. We talked to him in the pre-show, as we did the driver here, starting on the pole position. Liam McNeely out of London, England in the number 6 machine. A raw rookie when he came across the pond last year. Of course, NOLA Motorsports Park, his first race. Yeah, a much different driver now, much different young man. Get a lot more comfortable being here in the United States. He'll start on the pole alongside Majman. Jefferson Gaffera on row number 2. Cooley Garzone, row 3. Musella and Martella, row number 4. Argyros and Schrag, row 5. Fury and Leonel, row 6. Cameron and Carell, row 7. Janetta and Golan, row 8. Bossoff and Hauk, row 9. And Bestwick by himself on row 10. Cars have got the signal to roll off pit lane onto the track. I haven't been on the racetrack yet. I haven't raced here yet this weekend. I'm not going to, but the driver sitting beside me right now for Zanella Racing, Ty Fisher, has raced. He's done a start. He's done a full 12-lap distance and ended up coming home P4. Ty, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Get that mic a little closer to you here. Let's talk about this now. These guys are about ready to start the first race of the weekend. What were your thoughts, your first USF Junior start, coming out of turn 13 for the first time? What was the run down to turn 1 like for you?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous going into it. I didn't know how it was going to play out. I didn't know exactly what the other drivers were thinking. So I had a bit of a bad jump. My reaction time wasn't the best. I lost a few spots going into 1, and I ended up just not having enough speed and enough confidence in the first lap. So I fell back around 3-4 spots at the beginning. And I'm sure most of these drivers, they're probably really nervous as well, and but also excited to get the race started.
Let's have a look at this racetrack, 2.74 miles. As I told you, 13-turn circuit. You can see a long run down to turn 1, a big sweeping turn 2, a couple of, first a left-hander, then a right-hander sweeping double apex turn 4, turn 3 and turn 4. And then the big run around the outside of the racetrack. Almost full pin through 5, 6, and 7, carrying all that speed through the S's of turn 8 and 9. Long run down to the heartbreaking turn number 10. Probably one of the easiest passing opportunities if you get a run through 8 and 9. And the final complex of corners 11, 12, and 13, leading that run down on to turn number 1. Ty, of course, went to work, fell back a couple of spots, and was able to dig his way forward. Let's have a look as we can at the top 5 currently in the points here right now. You see Liam McNeely with 64 points. That fantastic weekend at St. Petersburg. Jack Jeffers did the best he could. A couple of second-place finishes mean he's only 13 points back. Joshua Leonel, Evan Cooley, and Sebastian Garzone round out 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the points as we have round number 3 about set to go. Ty Fisher going to join me. We'll, of course, bring him in when we can to talk a little bit more about the action here. He had that first run down into turn number 1. And I want to talk to him a little bit when we get a chance about the fact that he doesn't really know the drivers. More drivers here in USF 2000. They've been racing against each other. McNeely, Jeffers, Cooley. Some of these drivers have raced with each other last year in juniors. But you throw in a Brad Majman, he's new. Caleb Gaffera is new. Garzone is new. Musella's new. Same thing for Ty. They've got to get a feel for how their other drivers, their competitors, are going to race. You need to know that when you're heading down. You need to know the tendencies when you head down into turn number 1. Field lined up very nicely. It's those blue and black cars of J. Howard Driver Development walking out the front row. McNeely on the inside, Majman on the outside. It is time to go racing. Green flag flies and we're underway. Green, green, green. And a good start there for McNeely jumping off. But look who's coming up the inside. I believe that is Jack Jeffers pushing to the inside. He may come away with P2. I believe he does. He slips through. So move Jeffers up into the 2nd spot. And we are underway. Drivers settling in cleanly. Remember, when green to checker in USF Juniors, we'll see if the 2000s can match that One driver thinking about going 3 wide further back. You saw that at the right side of the screen. Some lockups into turn number 3. This is where the split-second decisions can make or break your race. You see the gap. Maybe I'll push it in there. It doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you're better to check up and battle later in the lap because you need early in these laps to kind of settle in. Just get into the position, let the train develop, see what you were able to get on the opening circuit. Sure, you were going to be aggressive. You might have got a spot or two. Don't give it up because you got a little over-aggressive. See how things shake down after the first lap, and there is issues right there for Ryan Janetta. That front wing almost coming off. It's broken already. He obviously locked it up and got into the back of somebody, so Janetta's going to have to pit sooner or later. If that wing does tuck up underneath, he could be on for a ride. We do have one driver fully 4 wheels off, 3 or 4 off near the back of the pack. Number of drivers going off the racetrack. One continues. That might be, I think that might be Ayrton Hauk, actually. You see that driver there, well off. They had contact. Someone probably losing the rear a little bit coming out of turn number 9. That driver's rolling. If that's Hauk, whoever it is, he is coming back onto the racetrack. So I don't think we're going to have to go. Yeah, that I believe is the Ayrton Hauk machine. So we are not going to go yellow. Excellent job for the drivers involved. A couple of them doing 360, 2 of them off the track. But we're back at it. McNeely, Jeffers, Majman, Gafera, Cooley, your top 5. I want to say Timmy Carell, Brady Golan, and Ayrton Hauk, the drivers involved in that initial incident. Ty Fisher, let's come back to you. And you made a really good point there. Being a rookie driver in a program, a brand new program, 14 rookies in your category and a lot of sophomores, you don't know them very well. And in karting, you end up battling the same guys up front, right? You know what they do. You know what they're going to dive you here. You know how to draft with them. Really, these are opening couple of races. You're going to focus on trying to learn the rest of your competitors.
Yeah, even the first race, I was racing a few of the D-Forces, a few of the Jay Howards, a few of the exclusive cars, and I was just learning the way that they drive, seeing if they like to brake deep, brake early, get a good exit, seeing how their driving style is, and I adapted to that, was able to get around them sooner than later, and it really helps, and I think it'll help me a lot in the next few races, just knowing the guys that I'm around, how they like to drive, if they like to be more cautious, more like just finish the race, focus on the championship, or if they're like trying to send it, go for the win, and all that stuff.
Yeah, you're out there driving and do the mental notebook, right? Okay, number 18, he does this. Like, again, that's multitasking, folks, when you're out there because you're trying to learn the tendencies of those around you. Once you get a feel for that driver, when you're kind of hounding him as Ty did for a number of laps, finally able to get back to a stellar P4. A great start, of course, of the season for Ty Fisher, who runs for Vanilla Racing, the young driver out of British Columbia, Canada. Top kart racer over the last number of years. Continued to be karting in the senior ranks at just 14 years of age. McNeely out front right now. He's got a full second on Jack Jeffers. Jeffers has about a second and a half on Brad Majman. There is first and second right there coming through turn number 3. This is how they ran at St. Petersburg. It's how they run here right now. But Majman, again, into the 3rd position. A little closer, though. Caleb Gafera, Evan Cooley behind him. As we see them work their way to 4 over to 5, you're going to see that next group. Majman's got some room. There's Gafera to the left side of the screen. But that is a leader as they work their way out of turn number 5, 6, 7. So, Ty, let's come back to you because I want to get your thoughts on 5, 6, and 7 because I know talking to a couple of the drivers, of course, a little bit more horsepower here, but essentially the same aerodynamic downforce on the car. What are you doing through 5, 6, and 7? Are you flat out all the way through there? Are you supposed to be flat out all the way through there?
You're supposed to. I was having to lift a little bit in 5 because I had a little bit of aero wash through most of the race. But through 5 should be flat. 6, you want to maybe break in the 2000. In the juniors, you're just lifting, and then 7's a flat, easy flat.
Easy flat through turn number 7. But a key corner, 7, a little short shoot, of course, down into the 8-9 chicane. That's going to set up the run. If a driver has an issue coming through 7, even 6, you're going to be able to roll up on them and potentially make that pass. We saw that actually. That's where you made your pass, actually, on Gonzalez. You get a really good run out of 6. We're able to get down to the inside of 7. I thought you were going to wait until the end of the straightaway in 10, but you went after him early.
Yeah, I had a really good run, and he made a little mistake. I think he might have gone off, and I just took advantage of it and sent it.
And listen, that's one of the things you have to do, too. You have to put the pressure on, like we're seeing on the racetrack right now. You have to keep that relentless pressure on. If you can't get by, you got to make them make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Ty Fisher, no stranger to wheel-to-wheel racing, and a top national kart racer. Supercard USA, USPKS, Rock Cup competition. There's a lot of the big karting events it has over the last number of years, but this, of course, now is the focus for Ty. Look at this scrap we have going on here. This is a good one. This is a little bit deeper in the pack, as we know, but they are going back and forth. They come through 5, using all of the exit of the racetrack. Again, we'll pick these drivers up a little bit further back. There's the number 90 right there. That is Evan Cooley. So I think we're probably looking at Majman, Gafera, Cooley, Schrag, and likely Garzone. Even further back, I think you throw Argyros in there as well, because Gafera is only a half second behind Majman, 9/10 back to Cooley, 2/10 back to Schrag, 7/10 to Garzone, not even a second to Argyros, who's got Musella right with him as well. So a lot of action. And that shot through turn number 8 and 9. Actually, let's put a racetrack down. Yeah, that's 10, 11, and 12. Well, let me ask you about that, because, Ty, a lot of things people have been talking about right now is the curves. We've had some drivers who have bent push rods, broken push rods. Where are you in terms of the balance of attacking every curve and staying off them a little bit? Is it easier for you guys in junior to stay off the curves, or are you hopping curbs like you would in your go-kart?
Well, it depends. A few of the corners, like turn 10, you're hopping the curb a lot.
Yep.
Getting the car on 2 wheels, which feels way different than the kart. But you do want to be careful of the push rods. In testing, I've been a few push rods, and I definitely didn't like the feeling of it and wouldn't want it to happen in a race. So in qualifying, sometimes you use the curves, but in the race, you just want to maybe stay off them, even if they're a little bit faster, because you don't want to bend the push rods. That's the last thing you want to do in a race.
You got to finish exactly that. I know a number of drivers have talked about that. It's that kind of balancing out, weighing it out. Do I hammer the curbs? I know it's a half a second faster, but I'm going to break a push rod and be out. I can stay away. Maybe the opening couple of laps, you get away and see what kind of a gap you have, and maybe hitting those curbs doesn't need to be as important. This is the fight we're watching right now. I think it's going to start building up. This is for third spot. This is Brad Majman, the Australian, the rookie driver in that number 7 for Jay Howard Driver Development. Caleb Gafera right behind him as well. And just like Ty, who was a top-level junior car driver before moving to senior, Caleb Gafera did exactly that same thing back in 2022 on both the Supercard USA Pro Tour, X30 Junior and KA100 Junior Champions. He was the outright best junior driver in karting back in 2022. But you can't take much away from Brad Majman either. He's a former Super Nationals winner in the Micro Swift category. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, but indeed, he's also been a race winner before in the JS F4 Series last year, 3 wins, 5th overall. You see the full course yellow out onto the racetrack. Not exactly sure why that is. The AMR IndyCar safety team is ready to roll. Quick look around the racetrack. I don't see myself here quite yet where it is. You can see they're scooting off. So indeed, full course yellow right now here. That's going to get rid of that big lead. 2.3 seconds advantage, and the driver off right there is the number 9 of Anthony Martella. I want to say he was running in the 7th position, and Martella has gone off somewhere in the gravel. Quick look over the shoulder here, because gravel's all the way around 5, 6, and 7, so not really a good opportunity for us to see where it happens. I would hazard a guess that it's going to be on the outside of turn number 5 and 6. We saw a number of drivers go off there, but does that look like some damage somewhere on that car? It looks to me maybe right front damage, Ty.
Yeah, you can see the front right's lifting up a little bit. Maybe he dropped a tire the corner before and bent the left rear push rod.
Yeah, indeed that. So a lot of times, folks, as you saw, we saw that in qualifying with Max Garcia when he damaged the left rear, broke the push rod in the left rear. The right front's going to come up in the balance of the car. They're so stiffly sprung that when you lose the bottom, it really lifts that right front, the opposite front tire off the ground. So we didn't do bad. We got 5 laps in. A scheduled 15 for the drivers here in USF 2000. They weren't able to go green to checker, as we saw with the drivers in USF Juniors. They were putting on an absolute show. Great racing, respectful, gave each other lots of room, and we're able to run 12 green flag laps. We're going to bang out a couple under yellow here right now as the AMR IndyCar safety team heads over. They'll have to take the tow truck actually in to pick him up. That's not going to be one they're going to flat tow back. So McNeely is your leader. That 2.3 second advantage is gone. Same goes for Jeffers. He had about a 3 second advantage back to the battle between Brad Majman and Caleb Gafera. They are 3rd and 4th. Thomas Schrag in the 5th spot. Sebastian Garzone in 6th. G3 Argyros with the issue for Martella now works his way up into 7th. Musella to 8th. Evan Cooley, who was up front, moved back a bit to 9th. Christian Cameron in 10th. Lucas Curry 11th. Eddie Beswick. Remember, Beswick started last. From the very tail of the field at 19th. He'll take advantage of the departure of both Vian Bajas and Anthony Martella to move his way up into 12th and press the reset button for Beswick and still be able to potentially fight for the top 10. Joshua Lionel, he started in 12th position. He's fallen down into 13th. Timmy Corral at 14th. Remember, those drivers were involved in the initial incident coming out of turn 8 and 9. Corral, Golan, and Harrison Hout. I believe all those drivers staying on the lead lap indeed. Janetta came into pit lane, I believe, and put on the new wing. He's down a lap. Vian Bossoff is down a lap for whatever reason. He had to come into pit lane, and of course, only 4 laps for Anthony Martella. They're going to have to drag this car first out of the gravel trap, and then I believe get it hooked up, unless we thought about damage, or maybe just high center. We'll see whether or not he's able to come back on and whether there's any damage to that car. Ty Fisher from Zanella Racing joining us here, a rookie driver in USF Juniors. Ty, of course, coming into the program here, you have your expectations, right? I'm a rookie. I know I'm racing against a bunch of guys who have been here before. But then you do the winter series and you win a couple of races. That's got to be good for the confidence to kind of change what you think is going to happen in 2025.
Yeah, like before in testing, I had some pace. A few tracks I would be top 5, top 3, but my expectations weren't to be in the top 3. I was thinking more like learn how I am, like see how the car is, and you can see there that the push rod's bent for Anthony Martella. Most
definitely. There's have a look at it, folks. You can see the right front is up, and we talked about push rod damage. Whether that was just a broken push rod straight off or contact, we don't know. We don't have the replay to look at it, but to me, especially if it looks like it's over in 5 or 6, very likely had the issue potentially coming off the side of the track over in turn number 4. The extra 4 is going to be a kind of a divot there, I guess. You drop the wheel into there, and we've seen a lot of push rod damage there. Let me come back and ask you about something, because you're right there, as so many juniors are moving from karting to cars back and forth. Tell me about the difference. Tell at least the viewers about the differences, because the interesting thing is that a karting weekend, you're constantly on the racetrack, right? Especially if you're running 2 classes. You guys are jumping back and forth. I know you're a senior now. You're kind of focusing on one of the classes, but you're always on the racetrack. Today, 1 qualified session, 1 race, and we sit around. Is that tough for you to make the transition where you're not always in the focus, you're not always in the place where you're ready to be on the racetrack?
Yeah, definitely a lot different. I do like the karting a bit more because you have 20 minutes in between a session. You're like rushing, trying to fix the kart if you like get in a crash, or you're trying to make a setup change. You don't have that much time. It's a rush for the team. And in this, you show up early, you do your qualifying or warm up or practice, then you wait like 3, maybe 4 hours just sitting around doing nothing, and then you're not really in the zone, and then you have to go out for a race session or a qualifying session, and it's definitely a lot different.
That's the mental side of the game, isn't it? You're going to have to teach yourself, of course, Zanella, the whole crew you have there, to get yourself in that mindset. I know you guys pour over a lot of data. Every time I try to come in there and grab you guys, you're in the back looking at data and looking at the video. But are you working, at least now that you're kind of new to this, are you working on a procedure, something the way you get yourself ready to go? I know a lot of guys listen to music. They're out there skipping, whatever, maybe doing the tennis ball toss. Do you have anything that you do right now that gets you into the mindset?
Yeah, like before every race, I'm always like thinking about the start, thinking about what's going to happen, like what I have to do. It's like be patient, no need to push on the first lap and risk wrecking the car. Just be patient, take the moves if they're there, don't force it, and just think about how the race can go down, like half an hour before the race and before you put your stuff on.
That's it. I like it. You have to get in the right mindset because you're having fun. We watch these guys in the paddock. They're enjoying themselves. When we get to the IndyCar race, they're going to have because we're at Barber Motorsports Park with USF Juniors. You guys are going to have an autograph session, I believe, on Friday afternoon there as well. You got 3 races there, IndyCars there. But you'll even see the IndyCar drivers do it, right? They'll throw that headset on, they're listening to some music, they're out skipping, whatever they're going to do, but they get themselves in that mental place because I don't think people understand, especially at this level, and as you keep going up, how important it is to be mentally ready. Because, again, like you said, when you go into turn 1, you can have a lot of ideas, Ty, what you're going to do, but really it's more reactionary and then drawing on the information and experience you have to make the right decision.
Yeah, like if you're not in the right mindset, you can easily hit the brakes too hard, lock up, go into the car in front of you, not be paying attention. If there's a crash in front of you and you're not like fully focused, you could smash into them. You could have a bad reaction time off the start. You really have to be like super focused, ready to go, and know like the limit of your car when the tires are cold. That's one thing that a few of the juniors and 2000 drivers, they don't really think about it before the race. They're like, oh, the tires, maybe they're a little cold, but you can still go deep. But you try that, and then you lock up into turn one, crash the car, your race is over.
I think we're almost ready to go here, folks. Let's have a quick shout-out. I know that you started, obviously, racing up in British Columbia, Area 27, the good folks over at TV Kart Race Lab. I know they're probably watching back in British Columbia right now. You still get a lot of time to get on the track at Area 27, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't been at all this year, but we're leaving Monday. We're going to go there, test in the Radical.
There you go.
Have some fun, go on the lake. Yeah, that track is one of the best tracks I've been to. It's in a great area. It's an amazing facility, food, everything you need. There's a karting track right beside it, and the layout, there's a ton of elevation change, super smooth. One of the most fun tracks I've driven, actually.
Yeah, Craig Feiner keeps telling me to come out there and check out the facility, the kart track itself and the big track, so I'll have to get out there sooner or later. It's been a while since we've had a driver of the program from British Columbia, Canada. Awesome to have Ty Fisher alongside me here. He's been a wealth of knowledge to kind of look on the inside here as we get set to go back to racing. 7 laps down, it'll be 8 when they come back around. Our Honda Civic pace car has pulled off the pit lane. Time to get back at it. The drivers, they said as soon as you get to the apex in turn 13, you can roll on the loud pedal, and that's exactly what Liam McNeely did. But who's going to be challenged from behind? He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Jack Jeffers is right there. Brad Majman closing up on the gearbox of Jeffers. I think Jeffers is going to have to cover off the bottom. This is going to be good for him. Jeffers to the inside. Majman trying to go to the outside. He better watch out for Caleb Gaffera. There's Gaffera, and right behind Gaffera is Thomas Schrag as well. Indeed, we saw the battle. Jeffers was able to pull away. Majman's there, and it's going to be Jeffers looking to the inside of Majman. Is he able to get through to the inside of more of a shallow entry for Jeffers? That'll push the car wide. Here comes Majman looking to the inside, not quite it. Look for an over-under coming from Gaffera further back as Majman tighter on the exit of the corner. And look what this has allowed. This reminds me of a lot of go-kart racing I see where everybody battles for second and the leader able to jet away. Liam McNeely says, thank you very much. I'll roll out to probably a half a second lead. There's that lead now for Jeffers. He gets a bit of a run as Brad Majman thinking about the guy behind him as Gaffera is there, Schrag is there. But they've got a bit of a gap back to, I think, Garzone. Indeed, Garzone leads that next group with Argyros, Musella, and I believe at the tail of that group is Evan Cooley. So, indeed, back at it here right now. Lap 8 in the books, 7 more to go. Let's see if Jeffers has any pace here to potentially try to reel in Liam McNeely. He finished second to the Brit in both races at St. Petersburg. Comes in here third place in points, but as Jack will tell you, he'll know if you're putting up solid podium finishes, you're going to keep yourself in championship contention. We've never had drivers win every race of the season. Something always seems to keep things rolling. But indeed, you think what's happening here right now for Liam McNeely, and I go back to his former Jay Howard driver development pilot, Christian Rasmussen, I think won like 7 of the first 8 races of the year, something to that effect. I'll go back and look at that this evening so I have that chart. But we've seen Jay Howard have such amazing runs. Last year it was Evangelos Papasavvas, who I think was on the podium second for the first 5 races of the year. Really kept himself in the hunt versus Garcia. A little further back there, Argyros up on the wheel. He's able to get by Garzone. So Argyros now going to close up on Schrag. There's first, then second, third, fourth, and fifth. Jeffers, Majman, Gaffera, and Schrag. Argyros finally able to break through, started 9th, now runs 6th, +3. Good in anybody's books here to start a season. Argyros comes in 6th place in points, 5th and 10th at St. Petersburg. There's Thomas Schrag in the number 2. Again, Thomas trying to put the pressure on Gaffera as well. Gaffera, who was all over Majman before the full course yellow. I thought he was ready to make the move to pounce, but this has stacked everything back up. If they have the pace to pull away from Schrag, that'll let Gaffera go back on the offensive. He's looking to the inside, and this is going to help Jeffers because Majman's already thinking about the pressure from behind as Gaffera up on the curbing coming through turn number 11. Back through 12 and 13. Caleb Gaffera putting on the pressure. Look at Argyros closing in. He's loving what he's seeing now. Watch for a pass potentially here. That's the beautiful thing about turn number 1. You can go inside, you can go outside. See, here's Gaffera. He's going to pull along the outside of Majman. He's going down to the bottom of the racetrack. Gaffera's going to be able to run the outside, potentially take this spot away. They'll be side by side coming down into turn number 1. Majman still on the outside. Gafera can't quite do it. But remember, an inside shallow entry for Majman is going to give a big outside run for Gafera. Watch for Schrag to come in. Is Gafera looking on the outside coming through turn number 3? Thought about it, and he's still there, trying to set himself up over for turn number 4. Caleb Gafera going to ride the cushion. Oh, I think he's gone to the inside coming through. They're side by side coming through turn number 4. How about 2 deep side by side? Argyros trying the outside of Schrag. This is tremendous stuff for USF 2000. You can't go too wide through turn number 5. Wow. Let's pick him back up. Gafera's through. Majman still has the spot, so Gafera is able to finish the pass, but no other overtakes. I thought Schrag may have been able to move to the inside, or maybe even Argyros getting around Schrag, but Caleb Gafera has got that job done. Move Gafera to 3rd. And if I'm not mistaken, this was the Sunday podium that we had at St. Petersburg. Look at this action. Majman trying the outside of Gafera. He may have the inside coming through. What a pass from Majman fighting back on Gafera, but Gafera trying the outside. He'll use the curb. He's going to go all the way around the outside, side by side, coming out of 13. Check out this graph. And there's Argyros behind his teammate, Schrag behind Majman, and coming up behind them as well is Garzone and Masella. Why not? Ty, this is good stuff right now.
Yeah, this is really good racing.
Ty's going to school. He's watching this big time. Majman runs Gafera a little wide. He'll go high on the track to potentially try to hold off Schrag. But look who's coming to the inside. Schrag thinks about the inside of Caleb Gafera, and he's got him. Schrag to the bottom. Little lockup further back with Masella. This is good stuff. These guys are going wheel to wheel through 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another lockup from the outside. I think that's Schrag finally finishing the pass. No, Schrag's on the outside, Gafera on the inside. Good run out of turn number 4 for Schrag, and I think he's going to complete that pass in turn number 5. Harder to pick up from the drone, but we'll get them on the outside here at turn 6. Yep, Schrag is through. But look at what they've done to line everybody else up. That's Christian Cameron in there as well. I think he's by Cooley, so move Cameron up into 9th. Cooley goes back to 10th. Liam McNeely, just send him the mail. He is gone. 2.5 seconds. He's in a different zip code. McNeely loving the action behind him as he's looking to go 3 straight victories to start the 2025 season. Oh, there's contact there. That might have been Garzone over the top of Argyros. He'll take the escape route up the inside. There's damage to the wing there. I have a feeling that might have been the 12 of Garzone. We'll see when they come back around. He's going to have to come down pit lane, I would think. I don't know that he stays on the racetrack. He might have, actually. But that front wing damage definitely hurt him over in 5, 6, and 7. You lose that front wing, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you can also see, I think Gafera might have damage to his wing as well.
Look at the rear wing. Whoever got driven over top of is going to make a pass with a bent rear wing. We'll have a look at it more when we come through. Trying to figure out whose wing that is. That actually may be Cooley. But that's Cooley and Cameron there, I believe. That's the battle right now for 8th and 9th. Look at this scrap we're having here. 12 laps down, 3 to go. Rear wing damage on that one car we talked about. I think it's hard to pick it up there. I think it's the car, the lead of that group there, that 4-cart group coming out of turn number 4. The wing is not off, but it's been bent to the left. Whoever that is got through turn 5 like there was no issues whatsoever. If indeed that was the car with the wing, indeed there it is there. I think that's Argyros. There's Gafera there, the 24. He's now battling it out a little further back with Teddy Masella. Again, got hung out to dry a little bit there. Brad Majman up into 3rd, Schrag 4th. That last time by, but there is potential damage here. Yeah, Gafera, I think somebody's lost the front wing as well. That even Gafera who's lost that front wing. You can see the driver there, the remnants of the wing holding on. Let's see as they come back through. Yeah, that's Caleb Gafera. That front wing is hanging on. It's actually turned, it's rotated counterclockwise, and he's getting eaten up. Here's Cooley coming through. Behind him, the number 11 as well. That's Jeshua Leonel. The tough one for Gafera with that front wing. He is dropping like a rock. 2 laps to go. You see there, right under the start finish, the wing damage Lionel's going to go by. He's third in points, and Lionel's going to find himself up into 10th. There's a lockup for Gaffera. Just can't get the car woed up or turned. He's going to lose 2 more spots. He knows it. He's holding on here right now as Beswick and Carell get by too. Timmy Carell by with Beswick, who's now up into, I believe, 12th, started 19th, plus 7 for the Aussie Eddie Beswick. McNeely leads, though, 3.9 seconds. He's very thankful for the action behind him. Jeffers second, Majman third, Schrag fourth, Argyros fifth, Musella sixth, Cameron 7th, Fakuri, Cooley, and Gaffera. Your top 10 across the line, but as we know now, a Lionel up into 10th. Ty, this is the kind of race you love winning. I know it's happened to you in karting before. You get out front, let everybody battle behind. You just cruise to the end, 90% throttle all the way home.
Yeah, exactly. Those races, they're always fun to watch, fun to see the drivers behind fighting. But then sometimes it's also really fun, like when you have a 10-car battle and you end up getting the win from that.
That's true.
After a dogfight.
They're better.
Yeah.
They're more fulfilling.
Yeah.
But you'll take these ones too.
Yeah, I'll take anything.
Yeah, you want to have your karting mechanic on the side give you the big window, or the guy on the radio saying, dude, you are plus 3.6. You're good. Hit your marks. White flag flying for Liam McNeely, who again was in a battle for the championship last year in USF Juniors. Came home second spot in that category. 5 wins on 8 top 5s, 12 top 10s of the 18 races for McNeely. He was there. Very consistent driver in juniors, and now out to a solid lead here. Although he'll lock up the left front coming in turn number 3. Why not push? He is still on it for sure, folks. And indeed, he set his fast lap, I believe, on the last lap. Why not, right? 134.685. So, again, this is that nice little cruise to wrap things up here for Liam McNeely. Remember, folks, we have another race coming on this particular stream. This broadcast will go down in Victory Lane, and then likely I'll come right back up. We're going to have time, I think, for me to get to Victory Lane. If we had any more yellows, we probably would have had to keep me up here in the booth. But I'm probably going to bail down to the Victory Lane as soon as I possibly can. But then we're back at it once again for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. Those drivers will roll out their, I believe, green flag. Their command to start engines is at 324. A long way to go still here. I don't even start the driver introduction for another 25 minutes. So, indeed, I will be down in Victory Lane. But this is the final lap here for the number 6 of Liam McNeely. Out of the final couple of corners on the racetrack, 12, 13. You know what? These are the starts you hope for when you're a young driver. You dream about them. He'll work his way out of the front straightaway. It's a big victory. Call it back-to-back-to-back jacks. 3 straight wins to start the season for Jay Howard Driver Developments. Liam McNeely. He wins race number 1 at NOLA Motorsports Park. Jack Jeffers coming home second for the 3rd straight race. Excellent job for Jeffers. That is big for him. If your primary competition is winning races, the best you can do is finish P2, and that's 3 in a row for Jack Jeffers. His victories here in 2025 will come. Thomas Schrag able to get by Brad Mashman on the final circuit. So Schrag up into 3rd. What a great run overall for him, because he was P5, as we know, behind that lead group. Finally able to get by, and of course, issues as we know for Caleb Gaffera. He ends up all the way down in 16th. So Schrag 3rd, McNeely, Jefferson, Schrag on the podium, Brad Mashman in 4th spot, Teddy Musella in 5th, G3 Argyros in 6th, Christian Cameron in 7th spot, started 13th, so plus 6 for Cameron. Lucas Fakuri in 8th. Fakuri started in 11th. He ends up 8th, top 10 for Lucas. Evan Cooley in 9th, and Joshua Lionel rounding out the top 10. Ty Fisher, the drivers are coming in here momentarily. Did you pick up anything from that one? You learn anything watching the broadcast here for your 2 races tomorrow?
Yeah, saw how aggressive they were into the 10, 11, 12 section. They were going too wide through those turns, and I had a few opportunities to, but I didn't want to risk it, and now I know that it's possible through there. I just saw the maturity from all these drivers, keeping it pretty clean for the most part. And yeah.
Listen, a couple of check marks on the day. Your first official USF Juniors race, your first time in the booth with me. Was it too painful, or was it not bad?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't too bad.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ty Fisher, ladies and gentlemen, joining me here in the booth, and we'll let him go now to get down. And, of course, his team will be rolling things up tomorrow with 2 more races for Zanella Racing. 4 drivers under the Zanella Racing camp, and a couple of them, 3 of them actually in the top 10 in race number 1. Drivers will roll the way down here. We are looking forward to seeing a victorious Liam McNeely take the helmet off, jump out of that race car, and show us the celebration for 3 straight victories. What a fantastic run for McNeely. It is all working good for the driver out of London, England. He'll pull that machine in. The team will be stoked about that one. Here he comes. McNeely's done it twice already this year. He was the victor in both races at St. Petersburg. He's going to bring it in here. And, of course, once he gets out of the car, we see the celebration. I'll get an opportunity to go down and introduce the 3 drivers. We'll do victory lane celebrations. Ideally getting him to get that helmet off. We want to see that face when he gets out of the race car, see the celebration of getting the job done. What a huge victory for him. And indeed, taking full advantage of the scrapping behind him to stretch away, both in the start of the race and after the full course yellow. He was able to get away. McNeely getting himself prepped. Team, of course, working their way up there as well. Another victory hat for him. Another first place trophy, and here he is getting ready to get out of the car, folks. Liam McNeely, 3 straight victories here to start the season for Jay Howard Driver Development. And there you have it, folks. Time to go down to Victory Lane. Don't go anywhere. We'll have Victory Lane celebrations coming up here momentarily. There's his mechanic, Josh Huff, with him as well. Josh just celebrated a birthday as well on Thursday, so another birthday present there for him. A victory here. Jay Howard comes in as well. Victory Lane celebrations coming up, folks. Right after that, we're going to be getting set to go with the first race for USF Pro 2000.
Where's my winner? Oh, yeah. They need a helmet. Now, proper congratulations. Good job. We tested it, right? It was on. Here comes Rob.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, down here in Victory Lane, getting ready to get things underway. Again, USF Pro 2000 drivers ready to fire up for their first race of the weekend as well. But, man, 1 full course yellow there, but some tremendous racing for the first half and the second half. Wow, that was good stuff. Last lap pass gets this driver onto the podium as we get things underway. Folks, a round of applause, finishing in 3rd spot for VRD Racing, Thomas Schrag. P5 to P4 to P3. Great job for Thomas today, getting himself up on that podium. Talk about the fact that when the guy in front of you is winning races, the best you can do is grab second. 3rd straight second place finish for this driver, still in the championship fight, no doubt about it. For exclusive Autosport P2, Jack Jeffers. Jack was challenged on that restart, but was able to work his way back up. Did a great job in P2. But again, the driver started the season off super strong. 3 straight victories. Last year was his first win here in USF Juniors. He's got 3 to start the season. The winner today in USF 2000, race number 1, Liam McNeely from Jay Howard Driver Development. Liam, let's chat here. I'll give you a chance to do a high five here. Man, 3 straight. I don't think you could have asked for much more when you were thinking about how to start the season.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, a brilliant start to the season, and yeah, just continuing on the work that we've put in over the off season, and it's really paying off now. So really happy.
Well, you got out of the gate strongly there. Were you getting the call from the radio and from the team saying, "Man, they're just battling behind you. Keep pulling away"?
Yeah, no, I could see in my mirrors that they were battling. So all I had to do was just hit my marks, and we had the pace there. So yeah, it was all good.
Obviously, a little different, probably the temperature of the track from the morning to the afternoon. Can you give us some indication of what it was like when you got out there? Was it a tougher racetrack this afternoon?
Yeah, for sure. Over the last few days, it's always been a bit tougher in the afternoon. So it was mainly just trying to, preserve the rear tires and, try and, straighten the exits up as much as possible, really.
I was saying that you were probably going to cool down, but you locked the left front up in turn 3 on the last lap. You weren't done pushing, were you?
No, I was still pushing right towards the end. So the car was phenomenal. So yeah, really really pleased. I'm really pleased for the team.
Who do you want to thank today?
My mum and dad, Jay Howard, my engineer Joe, and all the crew at Jay Howard. They've done a mega job.
Well, you're collecting these ones here. P1, get up on top of there, my friend. P1, the winner today. Liam McNeely, 3 in a row to start the season here in USF 2000. What a great job for Liam. Indeed, little lock up there in turn 3 on the final circuit. He was pushing hard all the way through to the very end. And I'll tell you, 3 very talented drivers here on the podium right now, as we know. Liam McNeely with the win. Jack Jeffers, his 3rd straight second place finish. Thomas Schrag, a great final lap pass, able to get through to take 3rd away from Brad Majman right at the end of that one. 3 different teams in the top 3 as well. Jay Howard Driver Development, Exclusive Autosport, and VRD Racing on the podium here to begin a triple header for USF 2000. Lots of time before we're underway, about 15 minutes still before we have the driver introductions for USF Pro 2000. So those of you on the stream right now, don't go anywhere. Grab yourself something cold to drink. We'll put a little content up there for you before we get ready to introduce the drivers of the first USF Pro 2000 race of the weekend. Champagne coming out. We'll have a little celebration here for the drivers, get a chance to enjoy themselves. Yeah, you're going to wear these suits again tomorrow, folks. Drop the hats, grab the champagne, boys, grip it and rip it. Let's have a little celebration here. Great job at race number 1. Liam McNeely, 3 straight victories. 2nd place for Jeffers, 3rd place for Thomas Schrag. An awesome race to start off USF 2000. Just 1 full course yellow. USF Pro 2000. Next up, driver introductions in about 14 minutes.
Thank you. Is it 3:30 start? We actually have
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
anything for the guy who finds that one pothole.
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
The USF Pro Championships is really the development level for drivers coming out of karting to move their way to the NTT IndyCar Series. The whole concept is we teach them everything they need to know all the way up the ranks.
The USF Pro Championships, it's North American Open Wheel Racing's version of college sports. Got 3 tiers to it, which is pretty important. This whole thing is geared to go upwards and really define who the next stars happen to be.
There's so many drivers that come into the sport and maybe don't have the financial resources to make it all the way to the big time, right? All the way to IndyCar. The scholarship program provides a monetary award that goes to a driver winning the championship that allows them to move up to the next level. So if you win a championship, you win the money you need to go racing in the next level.
A number of drivers in IndyCar today have used the ladder system to gain experience and to gain funding via the scholarships to pay for the next level.
The USF Pro Championship helped me get to this spot in my career because of the many opportunities that it creates.
It was massive for me. The scholarships that are implemented are crucial for drivers. That was my lifeline all the way to IndyCar, and it's the big reason why I made it.
It's very unique, you know. We have the opportunity to win our way to IndyCar basically, and some guys have done that.
The USF Pro Championships really helped me to get where I am today. You get so much racing on IndyCar tracks. You get ovals too, which for a European guy, that's something that's very useful.
This series is a smooth way of adding new developments into my career and new aspects of it. Like it's a smooth way of learning how to grow as a driver.
It has a great reputation. The competition level is amazing. It just gives drivers a great opportunity to advance.
The field here is really, really intense. I mean, people are down to the hundreds of thousands a second.
It's a great development series, and I think it's somewhere that you should be if you want to be going to IndyCar.
You know, one of the key factors in the USF Pro Championship that we always focus on is the level of safety. You know, back in 2022, we introduced the Halo to the car, which has increased the level of safety dramatically. And again, we're one of the only series that runs that in the junior level. And that's the key for us, is to make sure we take care of our drivers. Number 1 on the racetrack, number 2 with the Halo, but number 3, of course, with the AMR IndyCar safety team as well. Just like IndyCar has a dedicated crew of people that when there's an incident, they're the ones that arrive on scene the first time. They're with us as well. They know our race cars, they know our drivers, so when they get there, in the event there is an incident, we make sure they're completely taken care of.
So for the safety in our series, we follow IndyCar pretty much on all the safety standards as far as drivers' helmets, harness devices, suit requirements. We follow the IndyCar, and the reason for that, because we want to be the best out there. We want to be the safest. We want a mum and a dad to know their son, their daughter is in the car and they're absolutely the safest they can be.
They always think of safety first, and now every car has Halo, so you know if there's any flying debris or if you flip, you know 100% that you're gonna be safe. I had a big crash, Freedom 100, 2019 back in Indy Next, and before my car even stopped rolling, I already had an AMR safety guy in the car saying, "Hey, are you okay?"
Well, having started out as a racing dad, I know full well the concerns of a parent to make sure that we protect their kid. And we are very safety conscious in the USF Pro Championships.
When racers come to run with the USF Pro Championships, they're trying to become professional drivers, as we know, and they're trying to get exposure for what they've done, right? Not only do we teach them in terms of the media side, but they're really hoping for exposure through what we do. All of our races, of course, live on the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel. We have a downloadable app as well that fans can watch all of the races, the documentary, the climb that we put out, all the live timing, all on the app. So the exposure is there that they're able to leverage. If they have a sponsor or a prospective partner, an investor who's not here trackside, they're able to watch all the racing throughout the year. It's all about giving these kids as much exposure as possible, and there's not another junior formula program in North America that has the kind of exposure at the level that we have here in the USF Pro Championships.
We're rubbing elbows. We're on the same race weekends as IndyCar. And so it helps for those young drivers to look up and see those guys running at the top level like I am now.
Being in the presence of the organization that is IndyCar, you're obviously not racing in the series, but you're racing with it.
We've created our schedule to be as much as possible on IndyCar weekends. The IndyCar series is always looking for young talent. They've moved a lot of our kids into the upper levels, and we need to race in front of them.
The IndyCar team owners do pay attention to what's going on the ladder, and that's important for the drivers. But it's a good way to get and learn exactly what goes into a race weekend.
They really made sure to show the importance of social media and posting, and to get well at talking in front of crowds and talking in front of big places.
It's extremely international now, which hasn't always been the case. You're racing against guys that will be future IndyCar race winners, race champions, and so it's a very unique opportunity.
The reason to come and check out the USF Pro Championships is simply because we teach everything you need to work your way to the top. Again, it's not just about racing, it's about everything that you have to learn to be a race car driver, but also the development we have from car to car, level to level, gives the driver a little bit more every year. It's a really graduated step for up the sport, as opposed to diving into something super fast. This teaches you from a really good place coming out of karting into one of the school series like the Skip Barber Racing School, and then into our USF Juniors program. It's such a planned effort. Everything is set correctly so that on the way up you learn incrementally what you need to get to IndyCar.
On our level, our job is to prepare them mentally, emotionally, media conscious, all that stuff. We have training seminars. We have the race directors who will, especially on the juniors level, will work with the kids and try and explain to them what's going on the racetrack, what they did right, what they did wrong. This is a learning series. They need to learn from their mistakes so that when we deliver them to IndyCar, they're the real deal. They're the finished product.
It's really important as they move up the USF Pro Championships ladder to continue to build on their brand as they get to IndyCar. It's a good way for the drivers to learn what they're going to have to deal with as they get to the big leagues.
It gives them a great training ground from the bottom to the top, how to communicate with your team, how to act, how to be as a person, all the things that are needed to become a professional driver.
You really can work hand in hand with your mechanics to tell them exactly what you need. I've learned a lot in this series of what it takes to be a driver and relay that to the mechanics as far as driving, how the car feels, and I think this series just does a great job with putting the drivers with the right teams and the crew to make that happen.
USF Pro Championships, it does a really good job of educating us on what tracks we're going to be running when we get to the professional leagues. Same thing in Formula One. You run the certain tracks that you're going to race in Formula One, and they do a really good job with that here. There's other series that could lead you on the path to IndyCar, but they don't race on the same tracks as IndyCar does. So USF Pro Championships gives you a little bit of a leg up as a young driver to already know the tracks, so that when you become a rookie in IndyCar, you have a little bit more of an even, playing field with the other pros that you're racing against.
With 3 levels in the USF Pro Championships, we have USF Juniors, USF 2000, USF Pro 2000. One of the key components of the technical side of our sport is the fact that all 3 levels have the same basic chassis in itself. The USF Juniors, USF 2000, very similar race cars with the same engine as well. Larger engine, more horsepower for the drivers in USF Pro 2000. But what we always say is that we want our drivers to get a little bit more of everything as they work their way up the ranks.
We hooked up with Italian race car designer Tatis Race Cars. They are the biggest in the world in junior formula cars, and they've built us an incredible car to our specs. We started with what is a typical Formula 4 chassis, but we strengthened it with a double bulkhead to protect drivers' feet, side intrusion panels. The core of the series is the Tatis race car. The tub is the same on all 3 levels, and a lot of the pieces transfer over from one level to another. So you increase the horsepower on every level, lap times get quicker on every level, but it's all basically the same cockpit and the same controls, same data system, and the drivers can learn as they gradually increase horsepower and go faster.
So the Juniors and the US 2000 are basically the same car, same engine, same gearbox. Where it comes into is the engine is detuned. It has a different restrictor on, which is different horsepower. It has different wheels, different dampers, different uprights, different brakes. From there to the pro level, it's different body work, it's different wings on the car, it's a totally different engine, The first two levels, they integrate with each other very good. Going to the next one, the same. Still the same. Tub, suspension, uprights are the same on a Pro car, and brakes as a 2000. It just gets into being a little bit more. It's got a bigger gearbox on it, bigger wheels, bigger tires, more horsepower.
So every step we have specifically designed to make sure you're ready to go that next year when you move up a level.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah. Road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
USF Juniors earlier today, green to checker. Well done for the youngest drivers in our program. Just that single. Full course yellow for USF 2000. Let's see what we get out of the top drivers in this ladder program. USF Pro 2000 getting set to roll out here, 19 drivers strong. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the 350th race of the USF Pro 2000 category. Amazing to think back to the days of Star Mazzi, all the way back to 1999 in Sebring when Joey Hand came away with the victory. Fast forward to April of 2009 at VIR. Turn 3 Motorsports' own Peter Dempsey was the winner of the 100th event. We go to Aaron Telitz winning the 200th event at St. Petersburg. And then, of course, 300 Louis Foster just a couple of years ago in 2022. He's racing, of course, this weekend at the Grand Prix of Long Beach. Who will come away with that 350th victory? We'll see, because 19 drivers lined up and getting ready to go. Let's have a look at the grid right now with 19 drivers set to go. We know that most of the drivers here are anywhere between 16 and 22, 23, 24 years of age. How about Charles? Just keeps coming back for more, loves running with our program. Finelli in that number 83 Fat Boy Racing entry starting in 19th. We'll go to row number 9 on the outside right now. Carson Eder nursing a sore and damaged shoulder. He's starting 18th in the exclusive Autosport Priority Workforce number 92, the rookie on the outside of row 9. Inside, Cooper Becklin out of Portland, Oregon for Turn 3 Motorsports in the number 2. We'll move up now to the 8th row, starting 16th in the number 9 machine out of Miami, Florida. That is Nicholas Montiero for DeForest Racing. Alongside him from Greenfield, Indiana, in the Comet Racing Newcastle Motorsports Park, number 21. That is Logan Adams. Row 7 will have Fast Frankie Mossman on the outside in the number 6. The J. Howard Driver Development Pilot starting 14th alongside George Garce Arce in the number 10 out of Guadalajara, Mexico. Garce Arce for DeForce Racing. Up to row number 6, it is the number 28 of Sebastian Manson from Auckland, New Jersey. Manson for TJ Speed Motorsports, the rookie in the 28 starting 12th. And then Tyke Durst, he's had a really strong weekend thus far. Good qualifying in both the opening qualifying session and qualifying 2 earlier today. Durst in the number 33, the driver out of Charlotte, North Carolina, scheduled to roll off from P11. Move our way into the top 10 right now. The driver who joined me for the USF Juniors race call, that is Golden, Colorado's Joey Brienza, the rookie for Exclusive Autosport. Last year's Rookie of the Year in USF 2000. He'll start in that 9th position. On the outside of him, Jace Denmark out of Brownsburg, Indiana, Arizona native. Denmark in the number 26 for TJ Speed, alongside Brienza on row number 5. We'll go to row 4, all VRD. On the outside, it is Max Taylor in the 88, and on the inside, Owen Tenchevelu in the number 84. Row number 3 will have Matt Clark in the number 90, exclusive Autosport driver out of Canada, the number 90, starting in the 6th spot. Inside of that row, Ariel Elkin for TJ Speed Motorsports. Elkin in the number 27, starting P5. We'll go down to second row. It'll be Michael Costello alongside Jacob Douglas. All Pabst Racing on row number 2. Costello on the outside, the driver of the number 20 machine out of Naples, Florida. On the inside, the Kiwi, New Zealander Jacob Douglas, multi-time winner here in the USF Pro Championships. Douglas, the rookie for Pabst Racing, starting 19th. 19 drivers in the field. We'll put 2 on the front row. Off-pole winner from the opening round at St. Petersburg rolls in third place in points because an 18th place finish in race number 2 in the wall did not help his points. It's still Alessandro Tullio, the number 44, starting on the outside for Turn 3 Motorsports, and the driver on the pole. Last year's USF 2000 champion, point leader, race winner of event number 2, Max Garcia out of Coconut Grove, Florida, the number 18. The scholarship colors on the car rolling off from pole. Let's have a look at the points right now. I mentioned a couple of them already for you. As we know, Max Garcia, the top driver in the points right now, with 57 markers, 13 points back. Mac Clark, the Canadian, and Alessandro Tullio just another 7 points back of Clark. Max Taylor, the rookie, there as well, right behind Tullio, and then, of course, Jace Denmark and Owen Tangevelu there as well. There is your top 10 driver standings. And joining me now today in the booth here for USF Pro 2000, the driver we just saw get at it earlier today in USF Juniors, Michael Succo from Birmingham, Alabama for Inter MS. Michael, how do you categorize the weekend so far for you? Are you happy? You're a sophomore driver coming in. You told me when you came here for the first race last year, you were pretty scared. You were pretty nervous coming into the weekend. Not quite as bad this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been better. It's been a bit of a better look. We came into the weekend really confident out of practice earlier in the year, and we've had some struggles this weekend, but that's racing. That's part of it. So making those changes, it's been good so far. I mean, we went from 12th to 9th. I'm looking forward to race 2 and 3. The team's done a phenomenal job. There's not much more to say.
Yeah, when you're knocking out top 10s to start the season, that's kind of the way to go. You know you're going to get better. We saw you last year, a first-year driver with VRD Racing, and again, you throw someone in the deep end. You're not one of these kids that's been go-kart racing since you were 7, 8, or 9, right? You kind of came into this very late. So for you, just how much do you think you developed over last year compared to now?
A ton. Yeah, a ton. Like you said, I started karting at 16. I got into this super late. It's been a big jump for me getting into cars, and last year with VRD, it was a lot of work. It was a big jump. Like I said, it's physically a huge difference from karts to cars, from never racing in my entire life. So to where I am now, it's been big. Yeah.
Michael's going to be one to watch here this year, folks, for Inter MS. He and his teammates Hudson Potter and Emma Scarborough. Of course, last year they had Ariel Elkin and Augusto Soto Sharipa. So I'm really excited to see what Michael, Hudson, and Emma can do here this year. And of course, Michael talking about the fact started 12th, ends up in the top 10. Always good moving forward. So we'll come to Michael throughout this race. He's going to help us out. If we have any incidents on track, we'll talk about that. I can come to him a little bit as well about the nature and the characteristics of the track. He's the one that's been on here, as were Ty Fisher and Joey Perenz, who joined me earlier today. So we're going to go to the wealth of knowledge beside the driver who's actually been behind the wheel here, and we'll see what happens. But right now, our pro drivers hoping to see if they can't do what the juniors did and the pros did, almost essentially the USF 2000s going green to checker. We want out of these drivers here as well. Garcia on the inside, Tullio on the outside. They are first and second in points. It's going to get interesting down into turn number 1. Field is set. Flag is out. Green, green, green. The race down to turn number 1. And look at Jacob Douglas. He's thinking about the lead. He's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite. I thought he may want to tuck it up the inside. They're going to be too wide coming through the corner. Good, looking good so far as I scan the entire top group there up front. Couple of drivers making moves. The inside line, a better run coming down into 3. You can hold the outside of turn number 1. That's the key for the drivers on the outside. You don't get hung out to dry like you do at some other corners. Here's the opening lap. Everybody coming out of turn 3. A little bit of a dust up further back, but otherwise too wide behind it. One driver all the way off into the deep grass further in the field. You'll watch the rest of them coming out of turn number 4. That driver will be able to get back onto the racetrack, but they went grass cutting coming out of turn number 3 over to turn number 4. And Garcia has used all the early action to jet out into the lead. There's another driver off. That's Tangevelu, I believe, in the number 84. Yeah, he goes 4 wheels off coming through turn number 7. I'm going to come back. Be ready for this one. We'll come back to you in a second there, Michael. We're going to talk about the fact of how easy it is to potentially go off over in 5, 6, and 7. But I want to finish this lap first. We watch the drivers work their way down into turn number 10, 11, and 12, the final complex of corners. Because the battle, the big run down to 10, that's really going to be your big opportunity if you're close to anybody on the opening circuit. So indeed, working our way through the final couple of corners. We'll give you a rundown here. We'll find out which driver went off. Obviously, Garcia to the front. He immediately comes out of 13 and drives it down to the inside of the racetrack, going full defensive on the opening circuit. Then he comes back out, not moving in defense. I don't think you're going to see much of a penalty for that, but we do not want to see drivers swerving like crazy. Tony Cotman and Gerardo Bonilla are race control. We're looking for that here this weekend. Across the line, Garcia, DeTulio in second, Costello third, Matt Clark up into fourth, Jacob Douglas fifth, Elkin sixth, Denmark seventh, eighth is Brienza, ninth was Mossman, ninth was Brienza, 10th is Mossman. Sebastian Manson, I believe, the Kiwi, the driver who went grass cutting over there in turn number 4 all the way off the racetrack. And as we know, Tangevelu, I believe he may have come to pit lane. So whatever happened to Tangevelu coming through turn number 5, 6, and 7 to send him off the racetrack, you have to believe that could have been something mechanical. Let's go back to you, Michael Succo from Inter MS, the USF Juniors driver. I'm just going to say potentially a push rod, bent push rod, because we saw a number of drivers. How easy is it to go off trying to roll all that speed through turns 5, 6, and 7?
Yeah, I can imagine with all the downforce that the pros car have, it's even more difficult.
Right.
It looked like as Tangevelu was coming back into the pits, he might have had, a push rod or some wing damage as well. That's one of the most difficult corners on track. We go flat through 5 and going into 6, it's just pray.
Yeah, and listen, Joey Brienza was talking to us as well about the downforce of these cars and the aero wash. He's talking about qualifying, how you kind of want to be just at the tail end of that aero wash, but the minute you get into it, then you have the trouble. So, indeed, that's probably what happened for Tangevelu. I'll check into pit lane, into the paddock at the end of the day to be able to bring that update back to you tomorrow. But Tangevelu already, it's been a rough one for him as well. In qualifying earlier today, I think he qualified in the top 5 and then had a minor weight issue, came out just short on weight. They might have been a little low on fuel, and he ends up losing that P5 qualifying effort. So not happy at all. We're thinking 3 wide into turn 3. Oh, a couple of drivers deep. Look at the brake lockups there. Man, this is aggressive racing further back right now. Hard to pick up which driver those are. Another brake lockup, but we are driving all over the place. I think that might be Elkin. So I want to say that could be Elkin, Douglas, Taylor, Denmark, and Brienza. So indeed, that fight right now outside the top 4 is hectic. We'll have a better look at the top 4 as they come across. I want to say, Clark back to Elkin was only 0.6 of a second. They'll work their way through 8 and 9 now. Tangevelu, who's on pit lane, has just left. Whatever repairs they needed to make, they did. So I'm going to say not a push rod for Tangevelu. He's already back onto the racetrack. That said, 2 laps in. Here comes DeTulio. He is now the leader. I did not see the pass for DeTulio and Garcia, but Alessandro DeTulio going to try to come back at it. He is the leader of the number 44. Garcia goes down into second. So away we go. Here they come down the straightaway. You'll see the gap we have right now for DeTulio. A full second before. How about 1.7 seconds, like a rocket out of the cannon? 7/10 quicker than Garcia on that lap. DeTulio up on the wheel. Impressive opening laps here for DeTulio. Garcia led the opening lap, but DeTulio immediately came back to steal the way. You'll see him roll in using all of the racetrack in turn number 3. Down to the bottom there. A little wider, not exactly down to the curbing coming through the second part of turn number 3, but sets it up for turn 4. Such a crucial part of this racetrack. Michael, coming out of that corner, you don't think about how important that is when you're battling side by side with somebody, but to get the max speed all the way around to 6 and 7, it doesn't happen in turn 5. It happens in 4, the entry to 4.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really difficult because you have to judge the braking reference, how much speed you're carrying through. If you're side by side with somebody, you've got to kind of give them the cold shoulder there.
When we go to your home track at Barber Motorsports Park in Birmingham, you're from Auburn, right? Auburn?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay, well, we say I think we have it as Auburn somewhere. I saw. Anyways, Birmingham, that's your home track. There's visual cues. We got trees here. We've got some walls. How tough is it on a flat racetrack like this to pick up those braking markers? Are you just using the markers? Are there any physical parts of the racetrack you can pick up?
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? Barber's so easy that way.
Yeah, for sure. Barber's got all the numbers. Here, it's not like that. I like to use bits of rubber, dark spots on the track, maybe bits of curbing. You never want to use shadows because they all
change. You're right.
But yeah, it's definitely more difficult on a flat track like this.
Indeed. And what about turn 1 here rolling through? The very interesting thing is, with all that runoff that they've used, you're over top of the curbing. Is Is it an easy passing opportunity, or do you really have to get a better run on 13? It's really not as, I don't think it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
No, it's pretty tough because it's such a high-speed corner, you know, even the rolling, and there's a big bump on the inside, so if you don't get it right, you're really not going to get the move.
We had Brienza in here, and he's the one that spun during qualifying. He said the same thing. It's like if you hit the curb perfect, you're good. If you miss the curb, there's a bump right after the curb. If you try to miss the curb, there's a bump there as well. It's just, it's like trying to balance the best of the not best, right?
Yeah.
All right, so DeTulio's out front. Again, that lead now 1.9 seconds. He's stretching away from Max Garcia. Garcia with a 13-point lead. So even if Garcia finishes second here, he'll maintain the points. But I'll tell you, Alessandro DeTulio showing us that they have a hot rod here. And this is interesting for Turn 3 Motorsports. If I just rewind a little bit to last year, Turn 3 with Lockie Hughes, they were unbelievably good at spring training. We go to St. Petersburg. He wins the first race of the weekend. Nikita Johnson comes back and wins the second one. And then Lockie Hughes came here, and they were nowhere. They struggled like crazy. I think he qualified 14th for the first race. Lockie had to dig himself out of that hole. Eventually would go on to win the championship for Turn 3, which was massive for Lockie. Of course, he's now with Andretti Global in the Indy Next Series. But this is kind of the complete opposite for Turn 3. They've come out of the gate very strongly here. DeTulio running really good here as well. You've got Tyke Durst in the 11th position. Who else do we have for Turn 3? Cooper Becklin currently 13th and moving forward. So, indeed, they look good with their primary driver. The guy out front here right now, Alessandro DeTulio in the 44, leading the way over Garcia. Matt Clark looking for yet another podium finish. Currently running in third, but you can see the driver behind him right now, Jacob Douglas, trying to reel him in. He was 2/10 quicker on that last lap. Douglas over Matt Clark, the Canadian, pushing hard here. So Matt Clark is running third, Douglas fourth. Right behind Douglas is Ariel Elkin, who has been good. The TJ Speed driver, very strong all weekend long, through testing, through practice, through qualifying. Because remember, last year he was here. He was with you here in USF Juniors last year, but he had his elbows up. No doubt about that. He got to the podium. But as we know, Ariel's the guy. You never have to hold Ariel back, right? He's aggressive for sure.
Yeah, no, Ariel's a phenomenal driver. He raced with Inter last year, the team I'm racing for now. I've got a chance to meet him a few times.
Yep.
Great guy, and obviously doing very, very well.
Data and video as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been a huge help to me.
That's awesome, Michael. That's great. You get Ariel Elkin jumping up over USF 2000 straight to the pro category. And had a rough one actually at St. Petersburg. He actually comes in here last in points with 22 points. Had that wreck in the opening race, did not run the second race. They weren't able to get the car repaired for race number 2. So he's really on the back foot and starting, but trying to make an impression here in USF Pro 2000. Elkin currently running in the 5th spot. Michael Costello runs in 6th, 7th Max Taylor, 8th Joey Brienza. Where did Brienza start again? He started in 9th. He was up a spot, a little further back for race number 2. And then, of course, rounding out the top 10, Chase Denmark and Frankie Mossman. Jacob Douglas back at it again here. Good to have him back in the paddock. He was here a couple of years ago running USF 2000. Jacob Douglas, again, running for a Pabst Racing. And Jacob, back in 22, finished 12th overall in USF 2000. Got 10 top 10s on the season. And then was 6th overall in 2023. Couple of wins. Was able to score victories in Portland at the end of the season. Really started getting the hang of it, and then we didn't get him back. They weren't able to get the budget together in 24. Did a couple of races in GB3. I know he was got behind the wheel quite a bit back home in New Zealand, but the simple bottom line was they were able to put things back together to get him here with Pabst. Once again, where he was in the second year of USF 2000. He has come out of the gate very strong. The pace is no doubt there for Jacob Douglas. He had an issue in the opening round at St. Petersburg, was able to come back to 3rd in race number 2. So while he sits in 9th in points, he's showing right now the ability to potentially get himself a little farther forward. There's the 27 there. That's Ariel Elkin. Talked about him already. Driver out of Israel. Ran USF Juniors last year with Inter MS. Currently running in the 5th spot. Last time I lost a couple of tenths to Douglas, but you can see there's your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th place car. There's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th all together. 5th, and of course 6th is Costello. Garcia with the fast lap of the race. And listen, when you're thinking about championship, fast lap's a bonus point, so that's crucial. 130.456. Michael, I know we normally get some pretty decent weather when we go to Barber Motorsports Park. Occasionally we get some rain. last time we were here from NOLA, obviously spring training got rained out. You never know what kind of weather you're going to get, but what do you think about 4 straight or 5 straight days of blue skies and 74 to 75 degrees? This is perfect.
Yeah, this has been great. It's been good, I think, for us, especially in the juniors, to get a lot of track time, to get comfortable with the cars right before the season. You know, I'm a fan of the rain, but I'll never complain about it being this dry.
Agreed, especially when it's sunny and 75. Listen, I talked to the drivers before about the change in the weather. What were your thoughts on how the track was? Because obviously a little cooler this morning when we got here. It warmed quite a bit, probably 10 degrees warmer for your race. Were you able to feel a major difference between this morning and the afternoon, or even how much rubber's gone down over the last couple of days when you first rolled out for testing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to change a lot about the way that you drive, how the car is going to feel. I knew a lot of drivers who were actually talking about the DEG being higher in the afternoon like this when it gets hot outside. So for me, yeah, it was a bit of a big change. The car is moving a bit more greasy like this. I prefer it a bit too.
Me too. Here's another one for you. I'm sure you can't wait to get to USF 2000 sooner or later, if not only for being the next step up and closer to IndyCar, but darn, it's nice to get another set of tires. You guys only get 2 sets of brand new tires for 3 races. You can take that carryover set, which you're able to use anytime during the weekend, but you guys don't get a lot of fresh rubber over 3 races.
No, yeah, you definitely have to manage. That's why I'm sure a lot of drivers are talking about it. That's a big point for us for driving is you got to be careful. You can't send every single year. You can't lock them up all the time. You got to be smart.
Yeah, if you lock tires up in let's say you do a bunch of big lockups in race number 1, you got 1 fresh set of tires essentially for race 2 and race 3, and that can really affect the end result of a full weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael Succo from Inter MS joining us here, and of course USF Juniors after this weekend here at NOLA Motorsports Park. Head to his home track at Barber Motorsports Park, the Augusta National of Motorsports. Perfect time to say that is right now. The Masters, of course, getting played at Augusta National. Kind of looking at that on the side because obviously one of the probably world's most famous golf tournament will be in Alabama. Looking forward to that at the end of the month, start of May. So again, this driver here trying to get it done once again. He does not have the fastest lap. The gap's still 1.6, but very similar lap times. No doubt about it. DeTulio closing up a little bit here. Garcia closing up on DeTulio, but we're talking a tenth of a second at a time. You can see how close he is there. Inching his way closer, now down to 1.3 seconds. That I'd said inches. That lap was actually over almost 0.3 of a second. So DeTulio leading the way in the 44. Garcia in second, Clark, Douglas, and Elkin. Matt Clark in that 3rd spot, a full second ahead of Douglas. So he looks pretty strong now. The kind of leaders here looking good. There's first, there's second. And we'll likely see there's Clark picking through there. Behind him, not that far back, is Douglas and Elkin. Then 2.3 back to Costello. So the top 5 drivers have gapped themselves out to the point where as long as they don't race too hard, they're looking good. This is an 18-lapper. We did 12 laps for juniors, 15 for USF 2000, 18 laps for Pro 2000. Again, this is the 350th USF Pro 2000 race. It's an unbelievable stat. You go back to the early Star Mazda days again in the late 90s and through the 2000s, where drivers like Joey Hand, like Michael McDowell, of course, is now a Cup driver and a Daytona 500 winner. Top driver in that Star Mazda series back in 2004, Peter Dempsey. You look at Jack Hawksworth and Aaron Telitz, both, of course, Hawksworth still with Lexus, as is Telitz on occasion. And, of course, Telitz was a favorite of ours coming up through the entire ranks through the Indy Lights series before becoming a Lexus factory driver. Daniel Frost, Kyle Kirkwood, Louis Foster, Spencer Piggott, Nico Tremine. I could just throw the names of guys that have won races, and, of course, won some of these milestone races. Anderson Promotions bought the Star Mazda program that was going to get shut down the 2013 season. We took that over after a couple of years of running USF 2000. All of a sudden, we became 2 series under the road to Indy. Then, of course, the IndyCar came calling, asking us to steward the Indy Lights program for a couple of years. And, of course, we brought in USF Juniors. So, indeed, Anderson Promotions starting, again, the first ever race as Pro Mazda was at the Circuit of the Americas back in March of 2013. Diego Ferreira was the winner that day. Patricia Ward, Kyle Kirkwood, Louis Foster, all milestone winners of the actual Anderson Promotions events, 50, 100, and 150. And, of course, Louis Foster, as we know, our most recent USF Pro 2000 champion to move to IndyCar. Of the last 7 champions, Michael, 5 of them are in IndyCar right now, right? We've got Rinus VeeKay, Kyle Kirkwood, Stingray Rod, Christian Rasmussen, and Louis Foster now in IndyCar. Miles Rowe and Lockie Hughes waiting in the wings at Indy Next. They're going to get to IndyCar sooner or later. That's the one thing. Obviously, you're in juniors right now. You got 2000 and Pro 2000 beckoning. You win a championship in Pro 2000, you're probably going to be a professional race car driver.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been tough enough as is to look for the championship in these lower series. All the drivers racing the USF Pro Championships are incredible. So it's never an easy field.
This is it. And juniors here with 8 sophomores, including Michael here, and of course the 14 rookies. Again, green to checker that first race. I'm so proud of that, to be able to get that first race in. Everybody kind of getting a feel for each other. Things may amplify in race 2 and race 3. Hopefully we'll go green to checker throughout the entire weekend. But there is a lot of talent, a lot of great young drivers who have a couple years to develop. Obviously, Michael a little older than some of the drivers, the younger drivers in the field. He's in a hurry. He's ready to go up into the USF 2000. But liking what we're seeing out of Michael Succo. Again, in the off-season, for sure, a lot of great pace at the Academy Winter Series, and we expect to see him on the podium before the season's done. Watching this driver right now, though, DiTullio up front, 11 laps down, 7 laps to go. He is the leader here by 1.3 seconds. Garcia chipped out another 10th. 1.3 seconds. You see Garcia right there. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about, I think, Michael, is that you can close from second. I don't know what the delta is, but there's sooner or later within that, when you get within that second, that's when the aero wash is there, right? When you're on the cusp of it, you can get that draft still. But even talking to Joey Brienza, when you're coming through 5, 6, and 7, when you're just close enough, you think you're maybe going to be able to get that run, that's when you have the issue, right? And that's 100% when the front end starts to get a little understeer on you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super, super difficult to time it perfectly to where you get a good run down in the 13, especially with these cars with much more aero.
No doubt, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a big difference that we have to look at.
Let's see if we get one here. There's a couple of drivers going at it further back. And that's a defensive move to the inside, so he knew the battle was coming. I think that's Frankie Mossman, and Mossman will be battling right now. Mossman might have got a spot there, or is that Logan Adams up in there as well? Let's kind of see what we got. That's Mossman. Yeah, that's Logan Adams. They may both have got by Tyke Durst. Unless that's Durst up front. I think they may be flanked. Let's have a look across the line. No, Durst. So that's Durst is in 10th. That's Mossman and Adams going at it. So that's the battle right now. Tyke Durst is still into 10th. What a great run for Tyke. Man, this is good. He has stepped things up here for the start of his sophomore season in USF Pro 2000. No doubt about that. Durst in 10th. Mossman, though, having a battle right now. That is he and Logan Adams going at it. Wow, that's over to turn number 3. Adams is throwing it everywhere. Left, right. Trying to push Mossman into a mistake. That's for 11th. Cooper Beckland's right behind them as well. He's not even that far back. 3 drivers all separated by about 6 or 7 tenths of a second. Look at Beckland thinking about the outside. So yeah, we got ourselves a battle here. 6 to go. Last race of the day for the USF Pro Championships. All part of this Continental Tire Grand Prix of Louisiana. Again, very quick part of this racetrack. When the TJ Speed cars rolls through. Sebastian Manson, I believe. He's the driver that went off the grass in turn number 4 early in the race. 1.2 seconds. Garcia chipping out another couple of tenths. Call it 9 tenths of a second across the line this time. It's less than a second. Amp this one up. Does Garcia have the late race pace to reel in DiTullio? Or is ADT chilling up front, maybe backed it down to 90%? Again, think about that draft. It is so tough here with the aero wash. A lot of downforce on these cars. Again, I keep telling them the fact that it's the same tub, the same Tatis tub in all 3 of our series. But everything kind of gets progressively more as you move up. The brake package different between the juniors and the USF 2000s. More braking from 2000 to Pro, but it's more aero, more horsepower, more braking, more tire, more of everything as you work your way up to this particular program here. And of course, this year as well, for USF Pro 2000, we increased the soft limiter on the rev range, so the RPM's a lot higher. That's produced a lot more aero, a lot more horsepower, and more bottom end torque as well, which has made these cars a little bit tougher to drive and maybe a little better in terms of training for Indy Next. I'd love to get Lockie Hughes' input if he's got back behind the wheel of one of the turn 3 cars to see what he thinks about the adjustments we've made to the RPM curve with the soft limiter. I know that he had talked to me about how would like the car to maybe be a little more snappy, a little more peppy when he jumped into the NXT car, because that 80NX car is a tough one to drive.
Yeah, that's about what I heard from Max Taylor. He said it's a bit of a understeering car compared to these, and it's so short, it's so light, it's so sleek.
Exactly that, yeah. And again, perfect example. Max Taylor, Evagores Papasavas, Nikita Johnson, all drivers. The one is in our paddock. 2 were here last year. They're going to share a car at HMD Motorsports in Indy Next. Excited to watch what those 3 drivers were able to do in limited starts in the Indy Next Series this year. Tullio's lead is shrinking visibly now, down to 0.8 of a second. 4 laps to go. This is Max Garcia on the hunt to see if he can't reel in Tullio up front. Good stuff here for the final run. Gap now about 0.8 of a second. Tullio keeps pushing. Let's have a look at it his next time by. We'll see what kind of lap times we get. 0.756 was the gap between Tullio and Garcia on that last lap. See if they roll across the line here. 30.6, 31 flat. I got to think about 0.8 of a second, Michael, is that aero wash window. You think about that, because you can just see right now that Garcia lost about 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he's thinking about it. He's got to time it right. He's going to get the draft on the front and the back straights just a little bit now, closing in on the Tullio, but it's still not easy.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to be just at the edge of that window, then get the big run, hope for a mistake for the driver in the front to get that run down into turn number 10, the hard braking right-hander. As it is right now, Tullio looking to kind of bounce back from that DNF in race number 2 at St. Petersburg. He had a fantastic victory to start off the season with the win, but got into the wall. Just a minor little miscue late in the race in race number 2. Stuck it in the wall. Turn 3 had a rough weekend with a number of incidents. Titus Sherlock got into it. Elliott Cox got into it. The number of drivers having issues there. They were rebuilding cars all weekend long. Shout out to their team for staying late and getting things done. But indeed, you see the push right now for Tullio up front to try to get another victory here. He does not want to see Garcia get away. Same goes for Matt Clark, who's currently running in the 3rd spot. 4th in race number 1, 2nd in race number 2. Clark looking at a potential 3rd place finish here. He's still 0.8 up on Jacob Douglas, but that would be good. Anytime the leaders, so the guys up front, are still winning those races, you got to make sure you're right there getting the best possible result. And Matt Clark, former USF Juniors champion, is keeping up with him right now as he runs, as I said, P3. 2 laps to go. And then we'll cap off the day, folks. We are back and check the schedule. We have 6 races for you tomorrow. Essentially round number 2 for all 3 series will happen in the morning. The 3rd race of the weekend happening in the afternoon. We'll go all the way through. And, of course, right after the lunch break, though, we're going to have, let's say, some enhanced coverage for USF Pro 2000. We'll have a full pre-show. I'll be on pit lane. We're going to do a bit of a grid walk. We're going to talk to some drivers, talk to some team owners, have those drivers prep themselves down on pit lane to get ready to go for their second 3 races of the weekend. Gap now 0.9 of a second, almost 0.9, as both drivers going 130.9. So Tullio getting pressured. He has not flinched at all, and Garcia very likely dealing with some of that aero wash. He's trying to get close to that car in front of him. Logan Adams was able to get by Frankie Moss. Let's pick up a couple of the moves further back. Logan Adams up into the 11th position. Logan started in 15th, plus 4 to go to 11th. Indeed, the rest of the top 10 is Tullio, Garcia, Clark, Douglas, and Elkin. Costello 6th, Taylor 7th, Brienza 8th, Denmark 9th, and Teicher currently running in the 10th spot. So we're going to see the white flag here pretty soon. We're going to find out how this plays out, because it was almost 0.9 of a second on the last lap. Garcia ready to get up on it. Probably about 8-9 car lengths to come across the line. He gets it back down to 0.7 of a second. He was quicker by 1.5 on that last lap. Look how close he is here now. Man, I got to talked to a couple of these drivers to find out where the real aero push happens. Like really, when you're close, where does it really hit? Are you getting it in 3? You're really kind of putting the nose on the ground there. I got to think maybe mid-corner there, but 5, 6, and 7, no doubt about it. Even through 8 and 9, we talked to Brienza said that as well. Coming through 8 and 9, Michael, that the switchback chicane, you're trying to get in there, and the front end just kind of goes away on you.
Yeah, for sure. For us, I know at least if you're within a car, even sometimes 2, it's no longer flat out.
Wow. Okay, there you go. And that's USF Juniors with significantly less aerodynamic downforce than you see on these pro cars with much more wing on both the front and the back. They have that second pane. Yeah, the USF 2000 cars have a bit of a wicker bill in the both left and right of the front, but man, these cars got a lot of downforce for sure. This is the final run down the back straightaway. You can see Garcia not there. No need for him to throw it away either, because the bottom line is this, is he wants to come away with it. This is, I believe, right now. Yeah, that's the battle there. I think that might be Finelli right in front of them now, Charles Finelli. As he's going to work his way out of the final couple of corners. Well, there you have it, folks. Out of the final corner, turn number 13. He rolls all the way to the outside. He may have had some issues in race number 2 at St. Petersburg, but back to victory lane for ATT. Alessandro De Tullio for Turn 3 Motorsports wins race number 1 of a triple header here at NOLA Motorsports Park, keeping Max Garcia in the championship fight. Garcia coming home in second spot, no doubt about that. Great run for him. He gets fast lap of the race as well. 0.8 of a second was the margin at the line. Matt Clark, yet another top 5, his second straight podium. Clark for Exclusive Autosport finishing in third. Douglas for Pabst Racing in fourth, and Ariel Elkin for TJ Speed Motorsports in the 5th spot. 3 different teams in the top 5. Turn 3, Pabst, make it 4. Turn 3, Pabst Exclusive, and TJ Speed. Michael Costello coming home 6th, Max Taylor 7th, Joey Brienza in 8th, Chase Denmark 9th, and Tyke Durst rounding out the top 10. Michael Succo, what do you think about that one? Able to learn anything for your racing, or just enjoyed the view here up in the booth?
Yeah, no, definitely. I learned a bit watching their lines and everything like that. Obviously, we're in different cars, but there's always something to take away. Looked like a really good race from our point of view. I mean, pretty clean overall, yep. I think. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. 12th to 9th in race number 1. Where are you starting race number 2? I think it's just behind that, just 15th or around there. So I'm looking forward to make moves. I always know that my race pace is going to be better. Yep. I'm good in the races, so I'm looking forward to it.
Fully take advantage of your race ability, get your way forward.
Always.
Thank you so much. Michael Succo, folks, from Birmingham, Alabama, the driver of the number 24 for Inter MS and USF Juniors. Michael, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have him in the booth. And again, we're going to do this throughout the season, having drivers in the booth with us. Michael did a tremendous job. He gives a lot of great insight there. And again, make sure you watch for him on the race tomorrow. I want to bring it back in, Michael, real quick, because I forgot to do this with the 2 guys, with Ty Fisher and Joy Brienza. People want to follow you on social media. What are you on? Are you on Instagram? What accounts do you use, and what are your handles?
Yeah, the big one is on Instagram. Handles across TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram all the same. It's just Michael_Succo.
There you go, folks. Follow him. Follow all these drivers, the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. Drivers working their way in here to pit lane. Again, we'll stay here in the booth and wait for Alessandro De Tullio to jump out of the race car and show the excitement from his second win of the season. And you know, this story is a good one, because this is a young driver who, of course, was a top kid in karting in South Florida. Got a chance to put the money together just enough to give it a shot in the first year of USF Juniors. Man, if I win the scholarship, I may be able to go to USF 2000. Came up short. And at that banquet in USF Juniors, I talked to he and his father about the fact, hey, what can you guys do with it? This is all I've got. This is it. We had to win this championship to continue on. Obviously, there's been lots of stories like that. He went back to karting, one of the top-ranked karters in the nation, single-speed karters. Now he coaches a lot of drivers, but then got a chance to meet the right people, some investors, sponsors that want to get him back in the race car. Able to do a partial season last year with BN Racing, end of the season, and then comes away and gets an opportunity to do this with Turn 3 Motorsports, last year's champions, in the car of Lucky Hughes in the 44. Essentially a second shot at the dream for Alessandro De Tullio. It comes out of the gate in the blue and white with a win at St. Petersburg. In the wall, race 2. Story's writing itself, comes back again for a race win here in event number 3. You're going to see a little sigh of relief, I would expect, from Alessandro De Tullio when he gets out of the car here. The team working its way down to meet him in victory lane. I'll have a talk with him, of course, as well. But I'll tell you, the agony of defeat and the thrill of victory, DeTulio win in race 1, in the wall in race number 2, and he'll climb out of the car as a 2-time race winner in the USF Pro Championships. Alessandro DeTulio winning today in USF Pro 2000. The celebrations down in Victory Lane. I love to see that. Don't go anywhere, folks. If you're on the broadcast, stay with us here. We're going to cap things off with Victory Lane celebrations. Of course, back tomorrow morning with 3 races for USF Juniors, USF 2000, USF Pro. We'll press the reset button, do it all again tomorrow afternoon to cap off this trip to NOLA Motorsports Park. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're set to go here. The drivers in USF Pro 2000, the first race of this Continental Tire Grand Prix of Louisiana, have worked their way to Victory Lane. Let's get started with the driver. Another one, back-to-back podiums for this Canadian, staying right there in the points fight, finishing third today in race number 1 from Exclusive Autosport. That is Mac Clark. P3 for Mac. Solid run there, getting pressure by Jacob Douglas throughout the race. Again, this driver will still leave race number 1 with the point lead. A strong second place finish. P2 for Max Garcia from Pabst Racing. After an opening race win in St. Petersburg, he finds himself in the wall in race number 2, turns it around and wins the opening race here at NOLA. The victory today for Alessandro DeTulio. Chat with me first, Alessandro. Again, coming off that win, huge victory for the round 1, but then the disappointment, right, for getting in the wall in race number 2. It's got to feel really good to come back with a victory here.
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. Obviously, that race 2 in St. Pete hurt us, so, now it was my mistake. So now I just got to make up for it and keep getting the points in the bag. And, yeah, the car is strong. The team is doing a great job. I want to thank everyone that's here supporting me, the whole team. We've done a fantastic job, and still a long way to go this weekend, 2 more. So, yeah, let's keep our head down.
Congratulations. Hop on top and grab that trophy there. Alessandro DeTulio, folks, strong run, as I said, for that victory. Garcia kept getting closer and closer, but I think the aero wash was playing a bit of a role there. He got to within about 0.7 of a second, then had to struggle a little bit there to find that grip that he wanted. That understeer in the very fast corners here makes things tough, but DeTulio kept putting down really good lap times. And again, as he said, great for him to be able to come back and fight his way for another victory. Another top finish as well for Mac Clark, make it 3 top 5s, 2 podiums in a row. So the Canadian for Exclusive Autosport right in it. And as I said, always awesome to see multiple teams on the podium with Turn 3, Pabst Racing Exclusive on the podium. Shout out as well to Ariel Elkin bringing TJ Speed into the top 5 as well. So Just some fantastic racing by the top drivers, the lead pilots here in this USF Pro Championships. Of course, race number 2 tomorrow, the increased enhanced coverage, as we'll have a full pre-show from the pit lane. We'll do a grid walk. We'll interview some drivers. We'll interview some team owners as well. It'll be a cool way to get things underway. So there's your trivia answer, folks. Who won the 350th USF Pro 2000 race? The 300 was Louis Foster. He's an IndyCar driver. The 350th is going to be Alessandro Di Tullio. Guys, grip it and rip it. Get that champagne flying. Di Tullio winning the 350th USF Pro 2000 race victory. And a great way to cap off the action. A beautiful day here at NOLA Motorsports Parks. Folks, thank you so much for being part of the action all day long. 6 races on the docket for you on a beautiful Sunday. Weather's going to be exactly the same. Blue skies at 75. We hope you tune in to the USF Pro TV YouTube channel or follow us on the mobile app. Lots of racing for you tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for tuning in once again, folks. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.